Hi friends, I'm Naresh Patnaik, IELTS trainer. Today, the topic which I'm going to cover will involve some strategies and tips for IELTS Writing Task 2. Today's seminar's agenda is we will try to understand the evaluation criteria of IELTS Writing Task 2. The person who is evaluating your answer, what exactly he'll be particularly looking in your response. We will also discuss about various strategies for effective introduction in your IELTS Writing Task 2 response, and then we'll further discuss about the main elements of essay introduction with an example. So friends, IELTS Writing Task 2 essays are basically very general questions. When we give a response, we have to ensure that our response is at least 250 words response. We will be given 40 minutes. This 40 minutes should include reading question, understanding, planning, responding, everything together. 40 minutes is the total time we'll get. The type of questions vary. Different types of questions come in this, and we'll discuss about that in our next video. We have to keep this in mind when we write a response. The person who is going to check our answer will look for these main things in your answer. Your content, amount of response you write in your essay, it should be minimum 250 words. What I mean by that is 270 or 280 words is a very good idea. The content should be good enough in terms of size. At the same time, the content should be relevant to the question. Whatever task is given to you, your response should be in sync with it. It should be relevant. It should not be irrelevant essay. Now the content which we produce, say 260 or 270 words of essay, should be very neatly organized and structured. So the coherence should be pretty much evident. The person who is reading your essay from the beginning, when he approaches towards the end of the essay should be easily understood by the reader. And the reader will be able to understand very clearly when it is well structured and organized. In IELTS writing task, grammar and vocabulary are very important. Grammar accuracy in terms of ability to use various types of tenses, prepositions, articles, adjectives, and the word form, the word order. All this basic grammar should not be ignored at any point of the complete essay. Vocabulary is also very important. The kind of words we use in our essay will make an impact. Good words with appropriate lexical resources will ensure that we get a better score. Very simple words and repetitive words would not really get a very good score, but varied transitional phrases with different words, appropriate vocabulary as per the context would help us get a very good score. So these are the things an evaluator will particularly look at. If we are good enough in these areas, the chances are our essay will get a score of more than 6.5 or maybe 7.5 depending on the quality of vocabulary and the content. Now guys, this is one classic example of how IELTS task 2 looks like. Of course, most of the questions will be similar. Making smoking illegal is the best way to protect people from the harmful effects of tobacco. To what extent do you agree or disagree? What other measures do you think may be effective? Now this is the question, and we need to write an essay on this. We should be able to address every single part of the question. We should not leave any part of this task unattended. So that way our content will be relevant and it will be useful. Now this is the bigger picture of how your complete 260 or 270 words will look like. These are very important elements of IELTS task 2 writing. We have to have very good quality introduction, and then we'll go to the main body of the essay. Towards the end, we will close it with a nice conclusion. Today's seminar is more focused towards introduction because introduction happens to be one of the most important part of the essay. Thinking before we write will help us so that we get the relevant ideas and our introduction will be meaningful. In the main body of the essay, it's ideal to have at least 3 paragraphs. Each paragraph should have a topic sentence, the details of that particular idea, and the closing sentence. Each paragraph should have one main idea which it should revolve around. In that specific paragraph, that idea should be explained in detail, if possible with examples and personal experiences. and then that specific paragraph should have a closing sentence. That ways we will have three different paragraphs with three different main ideas. In the same way, when we look at the complete essay should also have main topic sentence which comes in the introduction. Details, obviously they will come in the body, and closing sentence would be a conclusion. This method is also called Burger method, which is very effective essay writing technique. Introduction. As I told you, this presentation is more focused on introduction, how to really work on the body and conclusion. We will prepare we will soon come up with another video on it. But then in this video, we want to emphasize on how to make our introduction very effective. First thing we need to do is take a little bit of time, say 1 or 2 minutes, to figure out what exactly is your response gonna be. We need to sit and think what are the main points you want to write. In the introduction, the first line can always be just restate the task 2 by paraphrasing with the use of synonym. In the question, you will have certain words, keywords, but then in your paraphrase, probably you need to change those words and use synonyms. Please refrain using the same words after you paraphrase the question in the first line of introduction. Next thing what you can do is clearly state your opinion. In the second line, the best practice is clearly you should be able to state your opinion. A reader should clearly understand what is your stand on the response. What is your opinion? In the third line of your essay, main ideas should be mentioned. Now this is also called the main thesis statement. Main idea should be relevant to the task, obviously your response. These main ideas you should really think very well and write it down, because these main ideas will be further expanded in the body of the essay. So whatever you write here in the main ideas, those ideas should be very relevant. It should be nice points wherein you can really talk about it for at least a paragraph or so. Your idea should be main idea which can be expanded, which can be described, which can be explained, and this idea should be so good that you should be able to give relevant examples on it. Now this is very important. These two main ideas are foundations for your main body of the essay. Each idea would be expanded to a paragraph in the main body of the essay later. That's the reason these main ideas should be well thought before even you put it on paper. This is a sample introduction. This was our question. This was our task 2. Making smoking illegal is the best way to protect people from the harmful effects of tobacco. To what extent do you agree or disagree? What other measures do you think may be effective? So that's our task 2. This is a sample response. First 2 lines, which are in purple color, are basically the rephrase of the question. Now I'll explain this in detail. It says the best way to save people from ill effects. Now if you see in the question, it says the best way to protect people from harmful effects. The same harmful effects word is not repeated in the response. In the response, we can write it as ill effects or hazard or any other word which will mean the same thing, but then we should not be taking the same word from the question. Now let's go back to our sample response. The best way to save people from the ill effects of smoking is to make it against the law. In the question, in the task 2, it says illegal, but in the response, we can say against the law. That ways we are changing the vocabulary, but it necessarily means the same thing. This way you'll be able to show your ability to use various words, and English skill is definitely evaluated with vocabulary. Now if you look at the second sentence, which is in blue color, it says, in my view, now this is the opinion statement. In my view, this is the only way we will be able to stop people smoking. Now in this, what we are actually doing is we are telling what is our opinion in a clear manner with no confusion at all. In my view, it is 100% correct to make it illegal so that people stop smoking. This is what I want to communicate. So for that, what I did is, this is the only way, because in the question it says to what extent do you agree or disagree. So friends, if you look at third part of the introduction, it talks about my 2 main ideas. First main idea is it would make it extremely difficult for people to get tobacco. Second idea is people will have fear of the law of the land. So this ways your introduction will be very effective for your IELTS writing task 2. And all the best. Do well. Take care. Bye bye. Hi.